This is Luke Maxwell. He's awesome. You should meet this guy. You're gonna meet this guy in our webinar series. Like, coolest guy I know who's on the screen right now. So that's cool.
I was about to say I'm the coolest guy you know. Wow, that's a compliment.
Floor is yours, my friend.
But yeah, Devin. It's funny enough because Devin is constantly sending me screenshots of bad sales outreach to him, and so I thought it'd be a fun little video.
Made a little mini private series that I keep sending.
Yes, private. It's private. He just sends me videos and that I get to enjoy by myself, and I appreciate that. But I wanted to make something with both of us, looking over sales messages, because there's a lot of bad ones out there. And we figure let's critique them and let's go through why they're bad and let's show how to actually do really good cold sales outreach.
Can we only do the first half? Can we only talk trash about people and not give any practical advice? Can we just...
I mean, we could, but then we cut off kind of looking like...
Then we just look like jerks, right?
People.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's what we should do.
So I wanted to start off with actually a good one. I wanted to start off with this one because on a good note, or I guess we can maybe end on a good note. But this is something really interesting because I got this. You can see this here. I'm gonna try to do my best to blur out all personal information. So I got this message. I'm just gonna call him Mike, and he said we might have some synergy together. We'd like to connect with you, right? And I was like, hey, really good to connect, and I saw that he was in the book industry. So that's what piqued my interest, because I'm like, oh, I'm interested in that. I've had some talks with publishers, and I just recently self-published my first book. So I'm like, oh, this is really interesting. I wonder what he has to offer. And so I'm like, hey, any particular reason? I always like gathering data from people who message me, because I might as well get something out of it. And he said he was wondering if I had a book out. And I was like, no, I'm working with a publisher right now, but I'm waiting till the end of the year to strike up a deal. Just because the way the book arc is planning to be, I want there to be a really good ending, which should be at the end of this year. But I said, I do have a shorter ebook that's quite popular. And he said, oh, cool. And he sent me a stock message that's like, oh, good to have a book in the works, invite you to the next webcast. So I'm like, oh, he's trying to get me onto the sales pitch, right?
Well, I mean, so far all of his messages have been stock messages. This isn't a real conversation. Like his...
What do you mean?
His first message, I thought we might have some synergy together. Clearly,
well, obviously,
obviously,
yeah, obviously, I'm not saying he chose me and personally sent this to me.
No, that's a bulk message. But
right.
So is, I was wondering if you had a book. And then anything that has any response
I'm so dumb. It's been about when was this? April? This was 2 months ago? 2 months ago. I'm just looking back on this for the first time in 2 months, and this is hilarious. I didn't realize in the moment that it was literally just an autoresponder that was looking for keywords.
Yeah. I mean, it could also still be at the level where it's a person manually just responding.
Yeah.
But I mean,
well, it could be. I mean, I think it might be. I mean, they're obviously. I mean, I think he might be like either him or he hired someone to just paste in messages.
It feels like a VA. It doesn't feel like an autoresponder.
Yeah, but the next one. So here's where it gets interesting, though, right? So I actually signed up for this. I end up not being able to make it for whatever reason, right? And I just kind of lose interest in their whole product offering. It doesn't seem like something I'm interested in, right? And so I said, I'm interested in this, but is this live or is it just a replay? Like, I actually want some information. I don't want to just get on a replay that's just a sales pitch, because we've all been there, and it's awful. Like, non-live webinars very rarely are good, at least the ones I've attended. And then so he said you could do either. You can watch the replay. So I'm like, cool, I'm just going to watch the replay, right? Yeah, so it's not a live interaction. I was trying to corner him. Basically, just give me an answer, right? I was trying to test. Basically, what I'm doing when I interact with these kind of salespeople, and I'm really trying to push them into giving me a real answer.
Mm-hmm.
Because if they will not give me a real answer, there's just only a certain amount of messages where I'll go, yep, done. Like if it's like 3 answers of him going, well, this, and like not being honest about whether it's live or not, then I'm done with it.
And then that's another one too, because it is a webinar. If they send you something where it's like, yeah, this is a live webinar, and then you go and you get to it, you can check to see if it's live.
Yeah, exactly.
So
and
you can
the old trick of
yeah.
of F12.
Yep, F12.
Yeah.
And then
Yep.
and if you're interested in the content, you can just pull it and watch the video at your own speed at that point.
Exactly.
But
yep, and you can skip past all the bad parts.
personally, if you tell me it's not a live webinar, then I have no issues. But if you tell me it is live and I find out that it's not, I'm never
Yeah.
gonna work with you.
Yep.
Because I now know, like, you started our relationship on a
It's
lie.
a Kayla Maddox effect.
Yeah. Like, you started our relationship on a lie. There's absolutely no way I will ever trust you past that point, because that was your first impression, was intentionally lying to me. Like, nope, don't want to do business with you.
Yep. So here's where it gets interesting, though. Okay. So, right? So this was April 3rd. Okay.
Yeah.
Right? So we can watch the recording. Sweet. So I'm like, cool. Awesome. 2 days later, I get this stock message. Luke, and paging through my connections, I remember looking at your profile. Immediately, I am angry. I'm like, oh no. Like, almost like I was kind of interested in your product offering. I thought it could be interesting to my thing. I wanted to get to know more about it because I think it could actually be useful to me. Then I'm like, you're going to send me this stock message that completely, like, doesn't take into account that we actually had a quote-unquote conversation, right? He said, I have an author group you might be interested in. Right? Feel free to join and ask questions. There's pretty knowledgeable folks worth your time. Okay. So I'm like, okay. I'm like, I'm not that angry yet because it's a genuine offering. It's not a sales pitch. You know, it's just like, hey, join the group.
Sad about that? This wasn't a hard thing to get right. So
no, it's not at all.
There is nothing wrong with sending out mass messages if you're intentional about them. So sending out a message, it's literally just having a different stock message for people that you've talked to before. And it's hey Luke, I was thinking about the conversation we had and I thought you might really get a lot of value out of this group that I have.
Yeah. It's a simple change. It's like a few words.
Yeah.
A few words you change immediately, you made it personalized to me, and I probably would have joined the group. I didn't even click the link.
Yep.
I'm not interested. Like, I'm like, at this point, you're kind of pissing me off, right? But then it gets worse. 1 day later, said, I think this might be interesting to you. The short book assessment we created. I'm like, okay, you still have good, like, these are decent, like, product, like, free product offerings. I'm like this kind of, like, offering.
These are good lead magnets.
Right? They're good lead magnets. And so I'm like, this is a good lead magnet, but the way it's sold is awful. And like, I think this might be of interest to you. There's no context. It sounds like just a generic sales pitch, without any kind of context relating to my interest. I already told him I was interested in the product. He should have followed up with information about the product, you know, and what it was, in order to capture my attention to get me on that webinar. What? Okay.
No.
Something else?
Yeah.
Okay.
My cat.
Oh, your cat.
He is
Devin's cat, the terror of worlds.
He is sharpening his claws on my screen door, which is like I want to kill him, but then he got his claw stuck in it. And it was sitting there stuck. And just like trying. And the longer he was stuck, the more entertaining it was. It's like, you did that on purpose.
That's why I do not. That's why cat. Yeah, no. So I'm like, okay. I'm like getting more frustrated because you had a customer, like you had a prime customer right there, and you're blowing it. And so then sends me another one. Generic message. Most of the connection you're asking me is selling more books. That's what you could do. Imagine if you can nurture right. It sounds like, like a sales message.
No, this is funny though, because he's like, hey, let's send him this thing. I can invite. Hey, let's see if he likes this, and I invite. Okay.
Right.
So Luke, I noticed that you're not engaging with any of my stuff. What most people ask me is.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let me answer the question that I wanted you to ask.
Yep. Yep. And that's the thing, is that it's literally, it looks like as ads, like these, like this would actually capture my attention more, because I'd expect the ad to be that personalized to me. Like if it took out like the Luke, right? And it said most customers, I'm like, oh, this is actually an interesting product offering. These are interesting things that I'm genuinely interested. I'm interested in the publishing world. I'm interested in alternative publishing, both for myself and as a whole, for like revolutionizing the publishing world, right? This is all stuff I'm interested in. And it's just the way he's going about it is killing me, because it just, like, if he simply took 5 seconds to send me a message personally, then I would immediately be hooked and I'd be on the phone with. I would have been on the phone with him easily. And that's the frustrating thing is because we all get sales messages for things we're not interested in, right? Like, hey, we can help you with dev. Like, I've got a bunch of developers messaging me. And they're like, hey, do you need developers? I'm like, no. I'm like, and I message back, what would make you think that? What made you think that I would need developers? And they never messaged me back because with developers, they're usually just using wide casting autoresponders that they could make themselves. But right, so join me in this webcast, right? So again, I'm like, okay, dude, kind of pissing me off. At least he waited a week this time, right? And then he actually tried to sell me on a summit, which the word summit and me do not work well together. I just have some bad, just some funny experiences with summits. It's a sales term I don't or a marketing term I don't particularly like for personal reasons.
Interesting. That's
right?
funny because I prefer it over like masterminds and other terms.
Yeah. Well, I don't like.
Those terms
I don't.
are misused. Is my
Yeah.
biggest issue.
I would say summit is definitely less misused, but in turn, like most marketing terms in general, I'm just like, just talk to me. Like I'm a big one-on-one person, so I'm like, if your marketing can actually talk to me, just be like, and just have a conversation with me, I'm immediately sold.
Right.
Because you put time and effort into it. You didn't go a cookie cutter lazy way. So that's what I always look for. That's what I try to do when I do any marketing. Of course, I'm not the best marketer, so it always, I don't always, do a great job, but
and you
I've hit the nail on the head multiple times. No, but I've hit the nail on the I hit the nail on the head multiple times, and a lot of times in very specific niches, and a lot of different things. I'm very good at that relatability. When it comes to business, that's a big question, right? And it depends on the niche. But this I was just like, oh boy. So I messaged him back a week or 8 days later. Because that's when I was like, that's when we were talking about this. I'm like, fine, I'm gonna message him back, right? And I send this, and I'm non-confrontational, right? That's one thing to know about me, right? I don't like conflict. I just don't like. I'm like, there's no point to it.
No, I'm sure you score very highly on like agreeableness.
No, actually, so the funny thing is, I score very low on agreeableness.
Oh, really?
But I just don't see the point in conflict.
Okay.
Like I'm like, most of the time people don't change, right? And so I'm like, the possibility of someone changing through an online interaction or I'm getting conflicted could most of the time will only push them further into their own belief system, right? If you're challenged, it triggers stress levels and anxiety of being attacked, which makes you more defensive, right? And so that's why I don't engage in any of that stuff online. Then I sent him this. Hey, Michael. I was genuinely interested in the product, and I'm glad we got to talk, so I think it's weird you put me on a generic auto messenger. Boom. He messaged back, and so I generally keep providing folks I've spoken to with useful content, especially if the conversation hasn't continued. Sorry for any inconvenience. And I was gonna respond. I was thinking of responding back something like, if you actually like talk to me as a person, then you probably would have had a customer, right? Or at least a customer in the near future. And I didn't because I just stopped caring at that point. And that's a big thing with a lot of these. I'm just like, I don't care about like you trying to like sell to me. I'm just gonna ignore you because I don't owe you anything.
I don't know if you get like this, but I definitely get like this. I'm defensive of my chat rooms, and like I would be happy with that just because he stopped messaging you, right? So when something's not going anywhere, I don't want to block people, but I absolutely do block people, just because I'm like, no, 99% of the time if someone's messaging me, it's a valuable conversation, so it stops my workflow to check it. So if you're gonna stop my workflow, you better be worth it. So I'm very protective of it. So I would have just been happy because he stopped messaging after that. I would be like, cool. This is tangential, but I actually had this conversation with my cousin, one of my cousins.
Oh yeah.
After repeatedly talking to him about stop trying to make me play like messenger games for this reason, like messenger internal games.
Oh, I was like, messenger games. I forgot what that was for a second. Yeah.
So
because who does that?
Like after repeated conversations of like stop, I told him like bluntly, I was like, if you don't stop, I am going to block you. And he's like, why? It's just a game. I was like, Yeah, because you use Messenger the same way most people use social media, which is a waste of time. I use social media to make money,
Yeah.
and you're interrupting my workflow and you're messing with my day. Like,
Yeah.
so stop or I'm gonna block you. And that doesn't mean I don't like you, and that doesn't mean we can't hang out, and that doesn't mean we're not family, but I'm gonna block you on Facebook.
Yeah. Yep.
Like,
That's the thing is that yeah, I don't like it takes time, energy, and and a distraction, right? If you see a messenger thing pop up, like when I see a messenger thing pop up, I know it's you or my D&D group. Because those are the only people who use messenger, and then I use messenger video call for a friend of mine. So I know if I see messenger, I know it's work related or I know it's D&D related, and both of those are semi-urgent. So I know I need to look. And so from your perspective, right, if you get a messenger notification, you're like, oh, I need to look. And so I'm stopped doing whatever I'm doing. I'm taking time to look. It's a game. I get angry and I'm frustrated. Now I'm in a negative mood and I have to go back to what I'm doing. And now I've lost all my progress and train of thought.
right.
I
And
totally get that.
generally speaking, I check every time because I'm getting messenger updates all the time, and they're valuable. Like they're human interactions with people that I've
Yeah.
met, that I've networking with, that I appreciate, and they're business transactions and deals being talked through, and they're all these things that are really really important and worthy of taking my time away from the project I'm on, and that game is not.
Yep.
And I'm not against gaming. I built a gaming PC.
Right, yeah.
But I
and also,
schedule it.
but messenger gaming, who? I only did that once with my brother because he was messing around with me. And he was annoying me on purpose. That was the. So I wanted to take a look. We're actually this. I want to take. There's one really quick one I want to take a look at, and then there's one just hilarious one I want to end with.
All right.
And I have so many more, and you have so many more. So if you guys like this, just let us know. Because
We'll
we'd
make more
love to
for
do this
you.
again. What?
Because we'll make more for you.
Yeah, we will. Like, we have so much content of this, and obviously we don't want to spend a full hour and a half.
And I think it is
unless-
super valuable though, because learning what works and what doesn't work, and I mean,
Yeah.
we're just going through a few examples here, but like these are things that don't work. So
Yeah.
I think it's super valuable.
Yep. Yeah. So definitely, yeah. Pay, and that's a good perspective is to be like, if you receive this, would you respond?
Yeah.
If not, it's probably not a good message.
Yeah.
Unless, of course, you're like, well, I'm not interested in. Well, whatever. Stop. That's just an excuse. Okay, we have to stop here. This video's going way too long. We're gonna check back with you with the next with the continuation of this. We're gonna check out another profile next week. So stay tuned for that.